type of thing. So, the good old word UFO, I believe it to be that exactly. So it's extraterrestrial, in my opinion.
Mr. Norris says he received a number of other reports of orange lights in the sky on that night, but Adelaide Airport says it has no record of any unusual aircraft activity that night. The incident follows a spectacular sighting in the Queensland town of Gladstone last month, also recorded on video. Mark Smith, 10 News.
You never know. Queenslanders had their eyes fixed to the sky tonight after a witness caught on video what may be a UFO. There have been reports filtering in from a 600-kilometre area ranging from Rockhampton to the Gold Coast.
This is the UFO Gladstone residents reported on Wednesday night.
The light was going from that area to that area, but there was no trail of light. It was just there 1 minute and here another minute.
Joan Mann was overwhelmed when she spotted it as she drove home from netball.
I raced into the driveway and I took all over the market to make sure she'd seen it, because people think I wasn't the only one seeing this, and she come out.
Reported sightings on Wednesday night all concur, a pulsating light changing from white to blue to red. But what Michelle Mulvey experienced on the same night in Ipswich was different. She was home alone when windows and doors started shaking.
You could feel the energy on top of the house. It was quite incredible.
2 days earlier, Mount Morgan resident Janet Burgess saw something over a knoll near her house.
It just took off, spinning. It was blue, and it was just spinning.
Sightings remain a mystery tonight. The Air Force says it wasn't one of theirs, and the Weather Bureau has no answer. Jeff Mullins, 10. Stunned by what they saw, a series of strange lights disappeared and mysteriously vanished, and many thinking that Sydney was playing host to some unearthly visitors.
Mysterious, intensely bright, the object swarmed over Sydney's southwest for almost an hour.
It just hangs high full of air last week, and then everyone taking you and Dad on the movies, and we're thinking, oh, right.
Rhonda Hewan says she felt a strange, overwhelming calm as she blazed away with her video camera.
Is it going to come and get us? It's anything in the news.
Weighing off at Ryde, Matthew Winter couldn't believe his eyes.
Planes were flying all the way around us. They must have seen it for sure.
Hard evidence of alien visitors, or something more down to earth.
If they're going to be visited by aliens, I'd prefer it to be something that was a little bit more spectacular than that.
Through binoculars, Dr. Mead says he saw nothing more sinister than a flying garbage bag, fashioned into a crude hot air balloon, like the one that fell to earth in Dickie Williamson's backyard. But that doesn't explain anything up to 30 other independent sightings in the same area over the last fortnight, all of strange and very bright orange lights hovering low in the sky, sufficient to spook the most hard-bitten skeptics. Late today, however, more deflating news. The Army owning up to a salvo of ground-illuminating mortar shells fired over Holsworthy last night. But for those who prefer a more intriguing scenario, just put that in your X-File. John Collis, National 9 News.
Okay, John, on the stock market.
It was thought the lights were from jets flying over the city, but the Williamtown Air Base says there were no aircraft in the air at the time.
But they were travelling side by side, just travelling like in a pattern, across the sky.
This is what the Demonsky family of Georgetown saw at around 10:15 on Monday night. While the lights are distorted on the home video, there were apparently 9 lights in all moving east towards the sea. Linda Edmonsky wasn't the only person bewildered by the lights. Mayfield and Newcastle police were inundated with calls, and RAF base Williamtown received more than 40 calls in just half an hour. Officers are now examining this video to try and determine what it was that so many people saw.
We didn't know what they were. I mean, we're joking, UFOs, aliens, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And late this afternoon, it was revealed that those mystery lights may be just a prank by university students.
The locals at Wycliffe Wells, 374 kilometres north of Alice Springs, have spent their nights looking at the heavens, and lights, they say, are UFOs. An attempt to capture the lights on television cameras on Monday night proved unsuccessful. Experts claim the locals have been looking at the star Striker. But Roadhouse owner Lou Farkas won't have a bar of that. He says what he and his staff see are lights that move around. Last night, our cameras tried again, this time with success. There was a light, one bright white one and two others coloured red, and witnesses who couldn't believe their eyes.
Yeah, well, you just don't know what to think. When it's gone, you think, well, I wonder if I did see it at all.
RAAF personnel at Tyndall Air Force Base are making no comment, saying all they know about the lights is what they see in the local media. But the local Alikarung people say they've known about the lights for many years. Jeff Mullins, 10 News.
And still on all things strange and supernatural, Ron, you've been looking into your own mystery.
Well, yeah, Juanita, we're asking questions like, is it possible that bunyips and yowies, even thylacines, still roam the Australian bush? There have been thousands of sightings, and at last 2 Australian researchers have documented many of those reports. They even hint that paranormal forces may be at work. For thousands of years, the Aborigines have drawn pictures of strange creatures, beasts 3 times the size of men. And even since the arrival of the white man, there have been thousands of sightings, and the images are surprisingly similar. According to authors Paul Cropper and Tony Healy, the legendary bunyip was commonly sighted in the early years of settlement.
Reports tapered off radically around the turn of the century, about the time that the dams and weirs were being built across all the major river systems, so perhaps that's why they disappeared.
The last thylacine or Tasmanian tiger supposedly died in 1936, but 50 years later, reported sightings are common.
Dr. Eric Geiler, who's the world's leading authority on the thylacine, he's quite convinced they still exist.
Panther-like big cat sightings have been particularly common around the New England region of New South Wales.
Out of all of the animal mysteries that we look at in the book, they're by far the most numerous. I mean, there must be over 3,000 reports now of this class.
From a cynic's point of view, the first thing to be called into question is the validity of the reports.
In fact, in one of the chapters, which is on the Yowie, we have a sighting by a National Party senator below Tree. He claims that in 1977 he was one of, must have been 20 or 30 people who saw Yowies at Springbrook, which is in the hinterland region on the Gold Coast, and it's a very, very good sighting.
The authors say they've checked out all logical explanations, like escape to zoo animals, but none of them holds water. That would seem to leave only one possibility, the paranormal.
And all those sheep and cattle, even horses, and even cattle dogs get killed and eaten with surgical precision out there in the bush. That indicates that there is a physical reality as well. So,
the book, titled Out of the Shadows, is now available in bookstores. Books or not.
But at least we were able to find 2 people who saw it. 13-year-old Chris Gray and his mother, Elizabeth. They shot some video of it, and as our Marino Boyle reports, you can decide when you see it.
Keep rolling. Get up there, Alice! They're back, and this time they're really out of this world.
Well, how long am I supposed to stand here seeing?
Forever.
That is?
Stay there. Stay put.
I'm freezing.
The last time we saw UFOs, they were invading Russia.
Yes, we were scared. The UFO hovered in the air next to this tree.
And Iowa.
seen this very thing happen in one of these plots in the 50s, and then again in the 70s, and again in 89.
At Monroe, Louisiana.
And that was for a split second when whatever it was going across the window sill.
This time, it's West Virginia.
People think it's some planet with the moon.
What you're seeing is the arrival of the UFO in the little town of Oak Hill. What you hear is a mix of wonderment and fear. An average American family having their close encounter.
Mama, can I stop recording?
But it didn't end there. The erratic UFO was seen by thousands of people up and down the East Coast, including the nation's capital. Sound familiar? Some experts say it was probably a meteor. A few said it was a helicopter.
Now, stars do not separate.
But all were afraid to alarm the populace. They saw red because the UFO changed from blue to orange to white, then vanished.
And then the news called me.
Now, if you think this thing was weird, imagine what they think of us.
Mama, my neck's breaking.
What happens if I said to you both, come on, it's your imagination?
We would say no, we've seen it.
Chris, you haven't dreamed about this since it happened over the weekend, have you?
No.
So what do you think you're going to do now? I mean, you're going to keep looking in the sky or what?
Yeah,
it tonight.
Welcome to Sighting. I'm Tim White. After many years of reviewing home video of supposed UFOs, it takes a lot to impress the scientists eventually. But what you're about to see is among the most intriguing UFO footage we've ever broadcast. A brilliant, disc-shaped craft hovered over Salida, Colorado for more than an hour. Tim Edwards has spent most of his life in Salida, Colorado. He runs the cafe his dad started 20 years ago. Tim has heard his whole life about fireballs, mutilated cattle, and UFO sightings in the valley. He never thought it would happen to him, but then it did. On the morning of August 27, 1995, Tim recorded his videotape.
Keep going. Approximately 9:30, my daughter Brandy came out here, and she has said that she looked up in the sky to see if it was going to rain that day. I looked up again, and I see a very intense, bright, shimmering white light. At times it appeared to be a boomerang shape, too, or a slight arc.
Tim called his restaurant to see if anyone else had sighted the UFO. Cook Michael Marshall told him to take a look.
Come out here, about right here, look beyond the door, and I can see the three flashes come off that look like boomerangs and it's bright white.
Then a fourth witness, Tim's 15-year-old daughter, Lorraine, saw the UFO.
At first I thought it was crazy. What's fun? And then when it started moving around, I was like, what is it?
Michael Curta is MUFON's chief investigator in Colorado. He's been researching UFO activity in the San Luis Valley for several years.
Mr. Edwards' video is some of the best footage that I've seen. Purely for the fact that, number one, it's a daylight sighting. There are multiple witnesses. It's a very large object, or appears to be a very large object, and we just don't get that many credible, good daylight sightings.
Sightings asked Chip Peterson to study the Edwards videotape. Peterson is an aerospace engineer specializing in computer enhancement and stabilization.
When you look at moving video, what you're actually seeing is 30 frames per second, flipping on the screen very quickly, and that's what we've got right here. What you're seeing here is the edge of each frame, and I have this stabilized by hand in order to keep this object in the center of the screen. So after you stabilize the image, you can see its motion much more clearly. Based on what I know of atmospheric flight, it doesn't look like any conventional aircraft.
Could it be otherworldly technology? Yes, it could. Could it be military aircraft? Yes, it could. Could it be some unexplained weather phenomena? That's also possible. There's an awful lot of strange things that occur in the mysterious Valley of Colorado, and this is racking up to be one of them.
The San Luis Valley is 5,000 square miles of fertile Colorado pasture land, the largest, cleanest alpine meadow in the world. It's also a UFO hotspot. Recently, people here sighted huge fireballs streaking across the sky.
Over on this mountain range, we've seen the orange orbs that come down and sit or just race right across the mountain range.
Speed right through oval, but traveling at the speed one would expect to be here, and it stopped instantly and started straight down.
We saw lights come off to this side of the mountain over here, come clear across and go over the top of these mountains on this side. This light came across all the way across with no sound whatsoever.
For 10 years, researcher Chris O'Brien has studied more than 100 bizarre animal mutilations in the valley and their potential link to UFO activity.
The activity that we experienced in November through January was quite incredible. We saw so much activity. We had green fireballs, blue fireballs, squadrons of blinking lights traveling too fast for these conventional aircraft, and then soon on the heels of many of these sightings, we had incredible military activity.
On January 12, 1994, the most spectacular UFO sighting to date occurred when an enormous arc of fiery orbs raced across the afternoon sky. Among the eyewitnesses was a retired 30-year Air Force veteran, pilot Jimmy Lloyd.
They were extremely bright, like strobes, a green color. There were 7 of them in a semicircular formation. They looked as big as a battleship and very fast. They were going at hypersonic speed.
yet there was no sound wave.
Within hours of the sighting, it became clear that Colonel Lloyd was not the only one interested in the sighting. In nearby Monte Vista, Colorado, the local sheriff received a phone call from the North American Air Defense Command.
The Rio Grande County Sheriff's Office got a call from NORAD saying that one of their satellites had picked up a significant burst of heat up on Greeny Mountain.
The information to us from NORAD that night that we needed to exhaust all efforts to determine what this explosion was.
At NORAD's urgent request, the sheriff dispatched planes and a ground crew to search for the source of the explosion. But as the team neared Greeny Mountain, they were waved off.
When they called us in originally, they gave us coordinates. Explosion took place here. So many degrees latitude, so many degrees longitude. Then we called them back and said, well, it happened on these coordinates. Completely different, probably 20 miles away, 15 miles away at one time.
Had NORAD really been off by more than 20 miles? Or did they want the search team out of the area?
We did our extensive search and couldn't come up with anything. I called NORAD directly and was in contact with Major McCall. He kind of blew it off. He said, if we can't find it, don't worry about it. If we can't find it, it never happened. And that it was no more of our concern.
In an effort to determine what really happened, Sightings asked aerospace analyst Ron Rieger to access satellite data collected in the area on the day in question. Rieger has concluded that there was a significant heat flash on January 12, 1994.
I did talk with one of the analysts at work, and they confirmed both the event, the time, and the location, and added the comment that this did not appear to be a forest fire.
The cause of the explosion, recorded by NORAD and confirmed through satellite data, remains a mystery, as do the many UFO sightings that continue to be recorded in the San Luis Valley. If the military has any answers, they're not telling. The lack of information is particularly disturbing to Tim Edwards, who has the dubious distinction of owning the best footage of one of the area's many UFOs.
I've been obsessed, almost, my family thinks, with trying to get the information, the facts out of this case and the truth, and getting this out to the public and bringing witnesses forward.
One thing that sustains Tim Edwards and UFO researchers in the valley is the knowledge that UFO activity here is not just a cosmic flash in the pan. The local paper records sightings today just as it did more than 80 years ago. Back then, eyewitnesses asked one simple question, and it's the same question people are still asking.
The selected tape is consistent with a number of reports sightings has received about UFOs in the four-state area of Colorado, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. We are continuing to pursue these reports and will bring you extended coverage on an upcoming edition of Sightings. Astounding evidence of UFOs.
Something appeared to be shooting at it.
The real Star Wars tape.
Something or someone is firing something at me.
This is hard copy for Friday, June 5th, night.
TV Earth. You think that sounds crazy? Know that the video is courtesy of none other than NASA. Doug Bruckner reports.
It's the hottest tape on the American UFO circuit. Tape shot from the Space Shuttle Discovery, a white dot 200 miles above us. Some say it's proof of a UFO battle in orbit around Earth.
I believe that's 04, please.
Of course, our government says it's all balderdash, but it's enough to send the spirits of believers skyrocketing. We examined the videotape in our offices with hotshot UFO researcher Don Ecker. Ecker is a police detective in the Pacific Northwest who's now on the staff of UFO magazine.
Okay, here it is. You see it? Now watch it.
Now, as it gets up here, we'll make a right angle turn, shoot off into space, and something flashes past them. There. And whoosh. They're shooting stars. Shooting stars, Mike. That's no shooting star. That whatever that thing is took an evasive maneuver.
There have been videotapes before, of course, but this simple footage is said to be much more convincing. Now, watch closely. There, beneath the shuttle, is planet Earth. Thunderstorms light up the night sky. But then something very curious happens. Watch this white dot. At first, it appears to be just a piece of space junk lost in orbit. Then, it makes a right turn, accelerates, and appears to fly away.
Run it back a little more. Okay, that's good. All right, now this thing is traveling this way. It suddenly makes a right angle turn and shoots into space. Right here. Now watch it. Now we're blowing this up. Right, watch it. There it goes, and here comes the shot.
They say this shot is the most remarkable thing of all on the tape. It could appear that the object turned sharply to avoid this white streak, which flies by exactly where the object had been a moment before.
Something appears to be shooting at it. Because it anticipates something where it flashes into space. There we go. And a split second later, something flashes past it.
NASA's official version is that the object is a piece of ice from wastewater the shuttle dumped on a previous orbit. They have no comment on what appears to be a shot streaking past it, or on how it could turn and fly off in another direction.
Why is that not a piece of ice? Well, did you ever see a piece of ice do this? Do what? Watch it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It makes a right angle turn, and it increases speed dramatically and shoots into space. There it goes.
The tape itself was shot by one of the astronauts aboard the Discovery and beamed down to Earth live.
There's no way that the shuttle can make a right angle turn, shoot off into space. This apparently is displaying a propulsion system that is not manufactured in Detroit.
Once again, this could be a UFO smoking gun or just pieces of ice and space garbage in orbit.
The speculation is here that there are anomalous objects that are observed entering orbit, and something or someone is firing something at them.
I wonder what it's going to take before we all believe it.
Well, I think a lot of people that have claimed to maybe see a little man on their dashboard are not carrying a full duffel bag, but gee, the right turn there on the NASA footage is tough to argue with.
Pretty convincing.
Erst 1985 gab die amerikanische Raumfahrtbehörde NASA UFO-Aufnahmen ihrer Astronauten in Erd- und Mondorbit frei. Diesen Film nahm Astronaut McDivitt 1965 von Bord der Gemini 4 auf, einen Tag bevor er dieses zylindrische UFO im Erdorbit fotografierte. Einen Tag vor der historischen Mondlandung am 20. Juli 1969 filmte die Apollo 11 Besatzung diese zwei leuchtenden Objekte im Mondorbit. Ein Film von Apollo 12 zeigt dieses helle Objekt, das in rasender Geschwindigkeit die Mondoberfläche überfliegt. Vergrößern wir es. Analysieren wir seine Flugbahn. Hier schwebt eine kuppelförmige Scheibe neben dem Mond. Sie muss riesig sein. Und hier, so scheint es, ist ein UFO auf der Mondoberfläche gelandet. Vergrößern wir es, erkennen wir weitere Details. Benutzen Außerirdische unseren Erdtrabanten als Basis?
WA3NAN, collect station at the Goddard Amateur Radio Club, located at the Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. We are retransmitting the Space Shuttle Air-to-Ground communication from Mission 20. This is WA3NAN.
we saw the weatherman in our base saw, this was in Germany, saw these, looked like aircraft, very high altitude flying over, and formation very much like we fly in fighter outfits. And he was tracking a weather balloon with binoculars and saw them, and it looked like quite good altitude. And pretty soon several other people on the base had binoculars and were looking at them. But we could never even getting airborne on our airplane, we could never even get close to them. They were well above where we were, but they were very metallic looking and double lenticular shape, flying formations and going primarily from east to westerly direction. And we never could determine what they really were or were not. So, yes, I had a crew that was filming the installation of a precision landing system we were installing out on the dry lake bed. And they were there with still and movies and filming the whole installation. And they came running in and telling me that this UFO had a little saucer had come right over them, put down 3 gear and landed about 50 yards from them. And they proceeded to go on over to get a closer shot on it. It lifted up, put the gear in the well, and disappeared at a rapid rate of speed. And so I had to follow my directions as a military. I had to look up the regulation on who I was to call to report this, which I did, and they ordered me to immediately have the film developed, put them into a pouch, and send them by our commanding general's airplane to Washington, which I did. And it was the last I've ever heard of the film. Well, personally, in my opinion, I think they're more advanced civilization and they're traveling through here for whatever reason, I don't know. But yes, I think this is one impression that every astronaut who's flown in space has come home feeling the fact that it's a shame we can't learn to live in peace because you don't see any boundaries up there from space. And I'm wondering if maybe that isn't the same impression that any extraterrestrial vehicles coming to Earth might feel, that if we can't learn to live in peace, then maybe they shouldn't even associate with us.
In January 1976, film was taken of the British Concorde travelling at subsonic speed. At one stage, the film shows what appears to be an object descending below Concorde, then ascending to travel parallel with it, and finally moving away over the top at great speed. This is what was seen. And here it is again in slow motion.
Flugkraftwerk, weißt du? So, aber das hat ja da nichts mit zu tun. So was habe ich ja noch nie gesehen.
Der da oben, der ist so...
Nein.
Geh mal kurz rein. Das ist ein Flugzeug.
Nee.
Doch, das ist ein Flugzeug.
Nein, das ist weg.
Jetzt sind sie nicht auf Wolken.
Ja, ich weiß auch nicht. Guck mal, da fliegt sich da. Also, ja, sicher. Das haben wir noch nie gesehen. Das erste Mal in meinem Leben. Also ich halte jetzt nicht von UFOs und so ein Quatsch, ne? Aber sowas habe ich jetzt noch nie gesehen, mein ganzes Leben, ne? So, ich geh mal... Wo ist denn, was das ist?
Ist aber Dreieck. Wenn du so richtig... Das heißt nicht. Ein Bett ist er jetzt.
Ja, das hat nichts mehr mit Luftballon zu tun. Ne?
Ein bisschen.
Ja.
Die anderen verstehen langsam auf.
Ne. Das ist ja so.
Die wäre dann mit dem Luftballon.
Ja, genau, der wäre eben mit einmal nicht weg.
Ja, aber der macht das jetzt vorher aus, weil er nicht mehr hergeht.
Ne, das kann ich mir nicht.
Brennt das
Die stehen ja, da oben stehen die auch. Ey.
Der eine geht wieder weiter weg.
Na, ich weiß das wohl. Ich weiß ja nicht, wie das zeigen kann.
Jetzt kommt der andere auch nicht daran. Jetzt ist es fast in einer Reihe.
Ja.
Nein.
Ja, genau.
Du es auch nicht.
Guck mal,
Da kommt noch einer dazu. Guck mal. Ja, genau, das ist...
Kann ja kein Luftballon sein. Papa, als das hier wegging, habe ich gesehen, das ging so schnell, da konnte man gar nicht gucken.
Ja, ist gut. Ja, das ist ja seltsam. Ja, hast du ihn gesehen, wie es dann...
jetzt wieder auf der
Ja. Also hier in der Kamera kannst du ganz deutlich sehen. Da sind drei und da sind drei und da ist einer ganz oben. Wisst ihr, wer das ist? So. Vielleicht sind das so ein paar andere Leute, die uns besuchen wollen hier.
Da war ja noch so interessant.
Ja, der ist weg. Ja, ob er verblieb ist oder ob er weg ist. Ja. Tim, das ist ja seltsam.
Immer näher.
Ja, näher.
Ja.
Kann ich nicht sagen, aber näher.
Hast du was schon mal beobachtet?
Das erste Mal gesehen.
Ja?
Könntest du da raus?
Ja, das sieht bald so aus. Nee, das müssen mehrere kleine Flugobjekte sein. Aber was für Dinger, das weiß ich auch nicht.
Sterne können es auch nicht sein. Zu hell.
Oh, der eine ist jetzt ganz schwach.
Ja.
Ne? Du in der Kamera siehst das unheimlich gut. Ja.
Oh, das ist für eine.
So, danke. Guck mal, wie die verändern. Ja. Die sind aber ziemlich weit weg wieder, weißt du das? Ja, das ist halt.
Das ist interessant. Ich meine nach Luftballon.
Ein Schluckballon? Nee, im Leben nicht.
Ich weiß nicht,
Guck mal, jetzt kannst du nur noch 4 Stück sehen, die anderen sind verschwunden. Guck mal, die verschwinden. Die verschwinden nicht. Die sind, als wenn sie weg sind. Guck mal jetzt. Ich will noch andere. if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet.
We often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Por um cinegrafista amador que viajava do Rio de Janeiro para a Vitória, no Espírito Santo.
4 bolas, ó, dá pra ver 4 bolas.
Veja bem, o objeto voador brilha muito e desaparece. E cada vez que volta, parece que se multiplica. A luz ficou no céu de Casimiro de Abreu por pelo menos 1h30. O objeto voador foi visto por dezenas de motoristas que passavam pela BR-101.
Aqui que dá pra ver.
よく見ると UFO らしい光が次第に縦位置に変化していくことがわかる。また回転しているように見える光の点滅には文字らしいものが見当たらない。そしてこの光体は一旦消えて次には別な場所に現れるという奇妙な動きをしていることもわかる。これらのことから見てどうも小型飛行機のイルミネーションとは考えられないのだ。
Jesse, que la gente también había visto exactamente lo que aparecía en las fotografías?
Algunas personas me dijeron que habían visto lo y dentro de lo que fue la investigación del laboratorio se analizaron los negativos de las fotografías y varios videos.
En esta investigación del laboratorio se podía verificar si esto era truqueado, era fácil, era sencillo, o es muy complejo y tan difícil que a lo mejor podían ser truqueados.
Bueno, la verdad es que en todos los análisis que nosotros hicimos no encontramos cortes o sobreposición sobre el video.
Y me gustaría también, en un momento más vamos a presentar para que analice el espectro que se desprende alrededor del objeto.
Sí, sobre una toma digitalizada de uno de los negativos del contacto en Tepoztlán, en donde estamos buscando el contexto, estamos haciendo resoluciones a través de lo que se conoce como píxeles dentro de la computadora y estamos buscando alguna manera, alguna sobreposición o algún montaje en especial. Estas son células vivas que nos hicieron favor en la ENEP Acatlán a través de los biólogos y esos son los espectros que dan ante diversas resoluciones de la imagen digitalizada.
Esta es la nave.
Esta es la nave
y el espectro de la nave. Si ustedes pueden falsificar algo así, si alguien puede falsificar, yo lo invito a que trate de hacerlo.
Aquí vemos la célula y estamos haciendo comparaciones de color, estamos dando aplicaciones, estamos tratando de quitar los marcos o las áreas que cubren al objeto para tratar de ver el contorno y tratar de ver si era una fotografía o un montaje.
Here, just below the rise where the videotape was probably shot. I think this might have been the closest point that he got. And just to show you the dense foliage growth here in the rest of the field. As you can see, this is all waist high here. Now the site itself is back over right in that area there, to the edge of the tree line there, over those pile of rocks on the other side of that fence. There's the live trees to the left of that area. That seems to be the site. And the video was most probably taken from up on this ridge, right up in here somewhere. I think he probably came from those trees, that tree line over there.
answered. So far, we don't have any widely recognized proof of any other life forms visiting Earth. The scientists believe that such a contact is still a long way off, while others say they are already here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me take you through 2 hours of UFO footage filmed all over the world. This is part 2 of UFOs, the film proven. Our first UFO video was taken